Okay, so this is the first in two videos, and it's about the challenges that Elizabeth faced, and this one is about Elizabeth's challenges at home. So in particular, we're looking at Elizabeth's financial problems. There was a number of problems with the economy, and Elizabeth inherited problems from her sister Mary. So one problem she had, and it was a rather big problem, is that there's a huge debt. The Crown had a debt of around £300,000, and with an income annually of only just under that amount, to about 286,000. Obviously, the math didn't stack up. Obviously, there was high interest rates on these as well. There was loans that were taken out, mainly from foreign lenders, and sometimes the interest rates on these loans could be as high as 14%, which, if you consider the amount of money borrowed, is an incredible amount of money, and was a difficult amount for Elizabeth to pay off. There was further financial problems as well, or further problems in trying to sort of pay off these debts, because Elizabeth's sister, Mary Tudor, had sold off the Crown's land, or a lot of the Crown's land, to pay for wars with France and such. So the income and the rent that was coming from those lands and that property was dwindling away. So there was a picture of the countryside and of a sale sign to try and show that. Further to that, the value of the currency had fallen at the time, so they had been reducing the value by using less and less gold and silver in the coin production. This meant that the value of the coins was now less, and of course, as a result of this, it caused inflation. So that was some balloons. It's not that type of inflation though. It's when prices rise. This happens because the coins were worth less, so people charged more for what they sold. In short, then, Elizabeth needed money to remain secure on the throne, and she also needed to reward her supporters for helping her. Nice luck, Elizabeth. Safe. So then, what could Elizabeth do? How could she raise money? Well, she's got a number of options. Rent is an option. So she rents land, rents property, and the income from that goes in the Crown's purse and contributes to, whatever she needs the money for. There's the age-old method of tax and raising taxes. If she whacks a tax on something or decides to increase the tax on something, that's obviously going to bring in more revenue, but it is going to annoy people at the same time. There's this idea of the profits of the justice. So you're looking at fines and things like that. People who've committed crimes can be fined, and that's money that can come in. So maybe she can increase those fines, or maybe find new ways to find people. And there's obviously this idea of loans. Sometimes loans were forced, meaning they were compulsory and never repaid. So another option there for Elizabeth. So what did she do then? Well, one thing she didn't do was raise taxes. She didn't raise taxes. She was worried that would upset people and make people unhappy, and she was really trying to win favour. What she did instead was she kept money. She hoarded money, she stored money, and at the same time she cut down in her spending, she cut down in her expenditure, so she was saving more and spending less. Like Mary too, she sold land. And doing this, she raised around £120,000, and by 1574, she was able to boast that the Crown now was debt-free. So, I mean, that's just a very brief overview. Obviously, you want to be having a look at your revision guides and textbooks, etc., to sort of pad out on that information. But I think it gives you a sort of a brief overview of the problems that Elizabeth faced in terms of finance. The next video will be looking at the challenges that Elizabeth faced from abroad.